All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you once again for taking the time to join us for our webinar on the Genetics Technology Program at the Michener Institute. My name is Jason DeMano, and I'm the Student Recruitment Officer at Michener. Joining me today is Faith. She is the one of our admissions officers. She is working the screen right now. And we also have a genetics technology student. We have Farah here. So she's going to share her experiences, expertise on the program, and why it may be a great fit for you. So without further ado, um, we will begin our webinar. So we'll start off with the land acknowledgements. The sacred land on which the Michener Institute operates has been and continues to be the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat, thank you, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit River, among many unnamed and unrecognized indigenous communities. Michener stands on land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and the Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. We recognize that this agreement is not a thing of the past, but a promise that we honor today and into the future. We share the responsibility of taking care of this land and transforming our personal and institutional relationships. We acknowledge that this is our collective responsibility to strengthen our ties within the communities we serve and practice healthcare in a way that advances the Truth and Reconciliations Commission's 7 health-related recommendations. So now, the question, what is genetics technology? Well, it does fall under the career of laboratory sciences, but is specifically you are focusing on testing and analyzing DNA, RNA, chromosomes, and looking for diagnosing and also looking for treatments for genetic disorders. So these are people that look at genetic data and they ensure accurate reporting for patient care. It's just a quick rundown, but we'll dive a little bit deeper. And now we have Farah here, who is one of our students in the program. Good evening, Farah. Thank you for joining us this evening. We know you have a busy schedule, so
Mhm.
we really appreciate this.
Yeah.
So probably this is the one lingering question. Why did you choose Missioner?
Yeah, so I chose Michener. I kind of found it in a way that's a little bit more unique. While I was an undergrad, I had like an idea of what I wanted to do, but I wasn't really sure. And one of the local hospitals sent an email out saying that they were looking for someone specifically to go to this genetics program. So that's how I found out about Michener, and I looked into the program, and I really liked that it had the lab components, which is something that I always wanted, and that it was also part of healthcare, which is I always want it to be in some type of healthcare position. So that's why when I saw Michener and I saw the genetics programs, I really wanted to apply to it.
Awesome. That's a great way to find out about us. Well, now as a genetics technology student, what is the typical day like for you?
Yeah, so our days are very different every week. Our schedules can be we're either online or in person. If we have an online day, typically the full day would be online or the full day would be in person. There's never like online in the morning and then in person in the afternoon, just to help with anyone who's commuting. Um, but it's every week is different. Some weeks we're mostly online, some weeks we're mostly in person. Um, when we're online, it's mostly for lectures. And then in person, it can either be like in lab stuff, or also we have a lot of in-person tutorials, especially in Cyto, to have our professors there watching us doing analysis on chromosomes.
Very interesting. Thank you.
And I'd say about 80% of our classes are in person or our days are in person. It's a very hands-on program.
Yeah, that's how we get you working here at Missioner, which is our slogan as well. Now, in the program, what would you say is your favorite part of it, and what is your interest? What interests you the most?
Hmm. So I really like that we're kind of a tight-knit group. and like with our professors, with the instructors, faculty, they're all um, very supportive in what we're doing. We're always encouraged to ask questions, even if we have a lot of like evaluated labs. We are still welcome to ask questions if we're unsure about things. I really like that. And what interests me the most, which is surprising because going into it, I thought I'd be more interested in molecular, but learning the chromosomes and doing chromosome analysis, I found that I really like it. And I didn't think I would like it before when I kind of looked into what it was. It's very overwhelming at first, but they really like break it down for us, and I really enjoy chromosome analysis now.
Awesome. Awesome. That's amazing. And for anyone that is looking to apply for the genetics technology program, do you have any admission tips for them?
I'd say the biggest thing is to really make sure that you understand Casper, because the main things that they're looking for the program is, of course, your grades, which we all know you have to get, you have to, do your best in your undergrad classes. And then, your experience with in labs, research, or in a clinical lab setting, all that is kind of very straightforward. But the Casper is something that if you've never done it before, it can be a little intense. So definitely look into it if you haven't done the Casper yet, to give yourself enough time to practice for it and to like practice typing and practice speaking, because the Casper can be a little challenging.
Amazing advice, yes. And for majority of the programs here at Michener, Casper is required.
Mhm.
The only two programs that don't require it is medical lab science and diagnostic cytology. Now, thank you, Farah, for sharing. I'm going to open the floor up to anyone that has questions for, could be myself or for Farah. And if you do, please put them in the Q&A chats, just so we can get to everyone's question. I see one in the Q&A already. It's what is the typical of a fresh grad? So it does range, because just depending on where you work and kind of could be your experience as well, kind of in your undergrad and also, yeah, from your undergrad, I should say, and also into the program. But if I'm not mistaken, I was looking at prices the other day. You're well within the, I think, 80 plus range, if I'm not mistaken. Could be a bit higher, maybe a bit lower, but you're within 80,000, I would say. I saw one in the chat as well. Let me get to this one first. We'll go back to the Q&A. So Alok asked if there's any books or online courses for Casper preparation and how many months needed for Casper prep. So ideally with the Casper, and Farah, you can also allude to this as well. There is a practice test online. If you search Casper practice test, it should lead you to the Casper website, and you can practice the test there. And essentially, um, how long would you say you prepared, Farah, for this?
I actually have done the Casper multiple years, just because I was applying to other programs. So because I had experience with it, I did, I think, 2 weeks. I'd recommend maybe a month, to really practice and, get your typing well, practice speaking because there's also a speaking portion of it. For like online, there's a lot of YouTube videos that can give you kind of a guideline of how to answer the questions and how to structure your answers. Um, and there's definitely paid courses that you can find online or coaches that can go over your answers. Um, but yeah, I think the big thing is like understanding what the Casper is asking of you.
All right, thank you. Now, an anonymous attendee says, what is the most challenging part of the program?
So I would say that it's a very, I guess, demanding program, um, just like time-wise, because we are in class pretty much like a 9 to 4 every day of the week. Sometimes we have a morning off, sometimes we have an evening off or an afternoon off, but generally we're here a lot. So it's a lot of, it's very time consuming. And then we also have a lot of time at home that you have to dedicate to doing the chromosome analysis and to really practicing that. Um, and then a lot of our like quizzes are on our own time. So, it's open for a few days. We can, um, you have however long you want to study before it, but you don't have it in time dedicated to doing quizzes. Obviously, exams and midterms, yes, but for quizzes, it's on your own at home. So I think that's just the amount of time, especially like for me compared to undergrad. Undergrad, you have lectures you don't have like as much in person, just in class. So that was something that I really had to adapt to.
All right, next question in the Q&A is, what is the job market like for grads and can they get employed right away? So essentially for genetics technologists and really all of our programs as a whole, we have about 90% of our graduates already working within 7 months. A lot of them are actually, they may have job offers right before they graduate. So in terms of what type of jobs you'll be getting and like if there's jobs, there are especially because of our partnership with UHN. So we are part of the University Health Network, and that's where students do their clinical. So they get that real work experience as well right before they graduate. And also because to get into this program, you need to have an undergrad. So there could be some experience there as well. So that adds to your resume, and you do definitely stand out. Great question. Thank you for that, Jennifer. And I see, what does the career projection progression look like? Um, Farrell, would you happen to know kind of the career progression for a genetics technologist?
Um, from what I know, like you would start as just a genetic technologist. There's generally like I think there's like a supervising genetic technologist and then like one on top of that as well. Um, and then there's obviously going into lab management afterwards. Um, other than that, I haven't looked too much into it.
No worries, thank you. And just to confirm, typical pay for fresh grads is around 80K. Does it increase? It definitely does increase. Like I said, it does also depend on your previous experience as well. So you could have a little bit more, but over time it will definitely increase. I can't allude to how much it would increase, but 80K, especially, in this economy, is a very good starting rates for sure. And I think a lot can agree to that. Thank you for that question. Um, what is the percentage of jobs? We did answer that. So it's around 90% of our grads. 80% of them actually are offered a job within their placement, which is amazing. Can you work part-time while doing this program? Well, Farah, can you work part-time while doing this program?
Um, if you really need to, you could. If you're good at managing your time. Um, like weekends, we don't have like classes, so it's definitely possible. I know some in our class do have a part-time job. Um, it really depends on yourself and if you think you're able to do that. I'd suggest maybe like starting the program, seeing how it goes, and then maybe later on in the semester or the second semester getting a job. But definitely, it is possible. Not the most recommended, but possible.
All right, and just because our webinar is ending in 1 minute, we will do one more question, and it's the portion of the program, what percent is online and what percent is in class?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned earlier, I think it's about 80% in person and then like the 20% online. Last week we had 2 days online. This week we're all in person. So it really changes, but we're definitely mostly in person.
All right, thank you, Farah, and everyone, thank you for your questions. I do know that you have many other questions, and that's great, but this does conclude our webinar. But if you do have those questions that you would like us to answer more in depth, please contact us. You can contact us through email at admissions@michener.ca. You can also call us between Tuesdays and Thursdays at 416-596-3101. We also have a drop-in session on Fridays on Zoom. It's called Ask Me. So we'll have the recruitment team there and the admissions team there to answer any questions you may have. And just in case you wanted to view one of our other webinars, we will have the recordings posted for each of these webinars you see on the screen. Our primary care webinar is next Monday. We also have our open house that's coming up on November 22nd from 10 to 2 p.m. So we're hoping we're going to see you there. We also have a webinar for our joint programs within medical radiation sciences on November 24th. So on behalf of myself, on behalf of Faith, and also Farah, we want to thank you for coming out this evening and hope to see you in the future at Missioner. But until then, have a wonderful evening. Take care and stay warm. It is cold outside. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.